Not
maybe
a lot?
a dab. It's a science.
A dab will do, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that?
I mean, it has to actually go in the... She's
Okay.
like, is it good?
You are an incredible artist that makes these amazing pieces out of wood that you find.
One of my passions is to repurpose and give something that's been discarded a second chance at something. A lot of times things that are discarded I actually see as like a gem. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
What are some of the journeys you've been on to find these pieces?
There was a group of guys who were cutting down a tree and they were all taking a break. It was like a hot Texas summer day.
Degrees?
About 215, I
Oh, okay,
think.
yeah.
That's just science, so that's just an accurate measurement. I saw it. I'm sure my eyes got, super big. I stopped the car. Hey, can I have some of this wood? They looked at me like I was an alien because they're like, we're about to use it in the wood chipper. So I grabbed it and I just kind of waved.
You saved those pieces from the wood chipper.
Yeah.
And then how'd you bring those to life?
I flattened them by hand, which I'd never recommend. Pro tip number 1, don't do that. And I put some kind of circular legs on them. No matter what your perspective was, it kind of had a different look.
Do you see in your mind the final product, or you just kind of let it unfold as you're working?
My opinion is I need to stand back as much as I can and let the wood be the showcase. I'm just kind of helping it to give it its new life.
How long do you typically spend on a given piece?
That's something I don't like to think about
Oh,
because
okay.
sometimes,
Sorry.
sometimes it's so much more. A lot of times it's 4 or 5 times more, which anything in life, if you're going to transform, there's always going to be, obstacles and challenges that you don't see. One of the most intense ones is about 50 hours,
My
most
goodness.
likely, yeah.
Things that are really good and that matter always end up taking time.
That is something I've learned a lot through this. They're good teachers.
So what we're about to see is your interpretation of Kintsugi.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, basically taking these imperfections some might see and actually using them and showcasing them, and them being what catches the eye and brings beauty to the piece. Essentially, the word translates to golden joinery. So that in itself is now the beautiful part where it's been broken. It has these unique features as opposed to just one solid plain piece of wood. This gives a little more character, a little more personality.
How beautiful. So it's like each of them has a story.
Oh, amen. Yeah, that is exactly it. Once I meet the piece of wood, once I work with it, it kind of gives me its personality. So we're gonna take some resin, step 1.
Is that what that lovely aroma is?
Yes,
Okay.
it's very fragrant,
Yes,
if you will. Would
very.
you like to wear some gloves?
I am a safety first kind of gal, so
Well,
that's a big
they're-
capital Y-E-S.
And it's a construction cone orange, so we'll see.
It's that
where we're
glamorous
working.
color.
Oh yeah, fashion, I
Okay.
never get dirty. Ask it, like, what does it want to be?
What color do you want to be?
There we go.
Oh, it's yellow. It wants to be
Okay,
yellow.
all right,
Bright
so-
yellow, like the light.
Squeeze some of that in there. It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't necessarily turn out sometimes as you want, but the project and the wood will always adapt. And the big question is like, will I? This is a hardening agent. If there's scientific measuring, no.
Okay.
I do
That's-
things,
I like your kind of art, Abby.
Yeah.
I just start pouring into these cracks.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and start with that one
Oh,
first.
okay.
We'll do
I
ya.
all of a sudden feel very
It's
nervous.
okay.
What happens if it comes outside of the
What
wood?
happens? I don't know. We'll
Wow,
see.
Look at this philosophical approach.
You
to
can't
wood
be
art.
afraid to put yourself out there.
Good point.
Sometimes, oh, yeah, there you go.
I feel like I cracked an egg sunny side up over here.
It's got a lot of good potential. So once I can sand it down, the colors of the wood and then the amazing, beautiful color you've made are going to come out really well.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Not only do we get to enjoy delicious Adelbert's beer, but we get to do so while sitting on your beautiful pieces.
Yeah, it's really cool. This is actually one of my favorite pieces of wood I ever found. It's a piece of elm. This is a great example of the kintsugi because a lot of these black marks are actually, they were holes. This is the first piece where I can really see the movement of the grain pattern, and I thought, wow, there's like an ocean of movement within each piece of wood. So,
Yeah, and now it's this gorgeous piece.
Yeah.
I also feel like maybe I need a coaster, Abby. These
No,
are
you're
your
good.
precious pieces.
It's all waterproof. I protect the wood from the humans, and so it's very durable.
So how did you get into this work?
I started off when I was 5 years old. I wanted to make the Olympics. My mom saw something in me. She started taking me to track meets, and I started excelling. But I met this coach who really transformed my life. He helped lead me back to the inner fortitude that's needed to be a world-class athlete.
Right.
I was actually able to make the World Championships in 2008, which was a big, huge honor to wear USA on my chest. A month before the Olympic trials, I pulled my shoulder out of socket. was actually my non-throwing shoulder, which was just kind of a freak accident. 1 week before the Olympic trials, I was actually at Barton Springs and trying to rehab my shoulder, and I caught a step wrong and I blew out my foot. So for 20 years at that point, I had been training for this one day.
Yeah.
Got to the Olympic trials and I gave it everything I had, but you know, I can still remember sitting there just devastated. That was a really low point in my life, and I felt like I identified so strongly with an athlete that I was nothing else. So I really struggled for about 8 years with really finding myself and finding how I fit in the world. This, you know, Olympic dream is over, now what are you gonna do? The lowest point came when one of my really good friends took her life. And I just remember I was renting this small room and I didn't have much at all. I had my mattress on the floor and my phone was just sitting on the floor, and I just remember looking at it and just thinking, wow, like I can't live like this. I was at the rock bottom and I needed to get off the floor. And so I thought, oh, I'll buy something at first. And I was like, I don't have the money to afford anything. So I thought, oh, I'll make it. How many things have I made in my life other than like handwritten cards to my mom for Mother's Day? Pretty much goose egg. By happenstance, my dad had this big block of wood. So I made this table and I was all excited because my phone wouldn't be on the ground anymore. And I was like, okay, we're building. For whatever reason, I put it on Craigslist. Somebody messaged me back and she said, oh, I'd buy your table. I thought, well, like, hot damn, like, what the, this is amazing. I started getting commissions. I was able to pay my rent, which was a big deal.
That's a huge milestone as a creator. It seems like you and nature have become co-creators.
Yeah, it is co-creating. I don't really take credit for it. I'm part of the equation, but I'm not all of it. I owe it to myself and the idea and that inspiration to let it flow through.
Sometimes you have to experience darkness to recognize the light, and it seems like you did that.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, why I want to share my story is there's so many darkness, you know, moments that I think people, if they can hear, like, just keep going and don't run away from it, but really run to that broken part, which Kintsugi, you can only see the shape of something when it's fractured. It's not easy, but just because it's not easy doesn't mean it's not worth it.
Thank you for sharing your journey with us. Cheers to you, Abby.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Cheers to you.